having his statement about Conor's manager coming to MVP and trying to set up a fight, but them not doing it because it isn't associated with the UFC.
Jake Paul has once again shocked the combat sports world with a bold claim about a potential fight against Conor McGregor. Just when it seemed his callouts couldn't get any more outrageous, Paul insists he's ready to step into the ring with the UFC superstar. However, it's not just the fight itself that's raising eyebrows, it's the conditions he's proposing. His latest statement has fans and analysts alike questioning whether this is a genuine challenge or just another publicity stunt.
He doesn't want to push for unless the UFC is directly at the table negotiating because quite frankly,
Jake Paul has once again stirred up the combat sports world with a bold claim, this time involving none other than Conor McGregor. Somehow, Paul has convinced a portion of the boxing community that he's a legitimate contender, and now he's laying down conditions for a potential fight. According to him, the UFC or Dana White must be involved, or nothing will happen. Really, Jake? Now you're setting terms for a fight with McGregor, a fighter who has dominated both MMA and boxing, while adding extra hurdles. Fans are left wondering, is this the fight they've been waiting for, or just another classic Jake Paul stunt to generate hype? While Paul has proven himself against former MMA fighters in the boxing ring, challenging McGregor comes with an entirely different level of expectation. Unlike Paul's previous opponents, McGregor has world-class striking skills, experience in high-pressure fights, and a name that commands global attention. Adding to the chaos, Paul dropped an even bigger bombshell. He claimed that McGregor's camp is desperately trying to make the fight happen. But what's even more shocking is the way they're allegedly going about it. Instead of using traditional UFC connections, McGregor's team is reportedly enlisting Bellator superstar Michael Venom Page as a mediator. Yes, you read that right. McGregor's camp, despite all its influence and resources, is supposedly reaching out through a fighter from a rival promotion. If true, this raises a lot of questions. Why wouldn't McGregor's team go directly to Dana White or handle negotiations through more conventional channels? Could this mean that McGregor himself is seriously considering the fight but wants to keep it off the UFC's radar? Or is this just another attempt by Jake Paul to keep his name trending in the fight world? One thing is certain, Paul knows how to keep the spotlight on himself. Whether or not this fight actually materializes, he has once again captured the attention of fans and the media. As speculation grows, the real question remains, will we ever see Jake Paul and Conor McGregor square off in the ring, or is this just another carefully crafted publicity stunt?
Having his statement about Conor's manager coming to MVP and trying to set up a fight, but them not doing it because it isn't associated.
In classic Jake Paul style, he didn't follow the script everyone expected. Instead of relentlessly chasing Conor McGregor's attention, he flipped the narrative with a surprising demand: UFC and Dana White must be involved, or there's no fight. That's right, no UFC, no deal. This wasn't just Paul playing hardball, it was a strategic move to ensure he got exactly what he wanted, if not more. His demand left fans and analysts puzzled. Why would Jake, who has built his career outside traditional fight organizations, suddenly insist on bringing in the UFC? Was this a power play to boost his credibility, or did he genuinely believe McGregor's involvement required White's approval? Either way, the move added another layer of intrigue to an already unpredictable situation. Let's be real, this is Jake Paul we're talking about. His entire career has been about shaking up the fight world and challenging the status quo. Whether this fight happens or not, one thing is certain: Jake Paul knows how to keep everyone watching.
I'm just saying, for the UFC to grant Conor McGregor the right to fight Logan Paul, and Dana hates the Pauls, you know how Dana holds grudges.
When Jake Paul calls for the UFC's involvement, he's not just making noise, he's playing a calculated game. By demanding Dana White and the UFC step in, he's tapping into their global influence, ensuring his fight reaches the biggest possible audience. The UFC isn't just a fight promotion, it's a powerhouse with worldwide reach, mainstream credibility, and a fan base that spans every corner of the globe. This move isn't just about making a fight happen, it's about making it massive. It mirrors a strategy McGregor himself has used, calling out big names and organizations like WWE to keep his brand larger than life. Paul understands that to cement himself as a legitimate force in combat sports, he needs more than just knockout wins over YouTubers and retired MMA fighters, love him or hate him. Jake Paul knows how to stay relevant. And by pulling the UFC into the conversation, he's ensuring the world keeps watching.
Dana White clause attached to this contract for Conor McGregor and Jake Paul, or Conor McGregor Logan Paul, none of this happened.
By throwing down this gauntlet, Jake Paul is executing a masterstroke. He's forcing the UFC, the very organization that once dismissed him as a sideshow, to acknowledge him as a legitimate contender in the fight world. He's not politely asking for recognition, he's demanding it. Suddenly, the biggest sports promotion on the planet is faced with a tough choice: ignore him and risk missing out on the spectacle, or take the fight to a global audience. Either way, Jake is shaking up the game, potentially rewriting how fights are negotiated forever.
You guys see the Logan Paul Conor McGregor wins in that fight? I think Logan Paul.
I mean, we haven't seen Conor fight in a while.
I feel like Logan Paul, at his size, when he fought Floyd too, that was years ago. He's like been training. He's in insane shape.
Man, I wish Conor wasn't doing these times.
As if the Paul McGregor rumors weren't already swirling, another layer of intrigue has emerged about where this mega fight might happen. According to ESPN's Salvador Rodriguez, the highly anticipated bout between Logan Paul and Conor McGregor could take place in July, August, or September 2025, and in an unexpected location, India, the driving force behind this potential spectacle? The Ambani family, renowned for their immense wealth and influence. With the Ambanis reportedly backing the event, this fight isn't just shaping up to be another showdown, it's poised to become a global phenomenon.
$100 billion family looking to kind of replicate what's going on in Riyadh season in Saudi Arabia. How they're pushing into boxing. India with that kind of money, maybe trying to do.
Choosing India as the venue isn't random, it's a calculated strategy. India is one of the fastest growing markets for combat sports, boasting a massive, untapped audience eager for more. By bringing a marquee event like this to India, the promoters aren't just targeting the country, they're making a bold statement to the world. This is where the future of global sports lies, and then there's the money. With the Ambani family involved, this isn't small change we're talking about. Boasting a staggering net worth of $113.5 billion, Asia's richest family could fund this event without making a dent in their telecom empire. Hosting this fight in India isn't just about putting on a spectacle, it's about rewriting the financial playbook for combat sports. Jake Paul and Conor McGregor wouldn't just be trading punches, they'd be making history, all while basking in the glow of dollar signs and rupees.
First, it just came out. Conor just put it on Twitter that he was in talks with the Ambani family to fight Logan.
The timing? Absolute perfection. With no major global sporting events stealing the spotlight in mid-2025, all eyes would turn to India. This isn't just a fight, it's a power move, an epic, money-soaked spectacle that could redefine where and how the biggest bouts in history take place. Now, let's break down the fighters set to square off. On one side, Conor McGregor, the man who conquered 2 weight classes and became a global icon. On the other, Jake Paul, the YouTuber-turned-boxer who's somehow managed to convince the world he's a legitimate threat. McGregor's fighting style is as flashy as his persona, built around his devastating knockout power that's ended many fights in a flash.
He's a big dude, and he can crack.
Yeah.
And I always say that people look at him like a guy who is a YouTuber, and they're denying his skills.
Not anymore, bro.
Then there's Jake Paul, who's carved out a boxing career that's impossible to overlook. From social media star to legitimate pugilist, Jake has turned heads and stirred controversy. As of November 2024, his professional record stands at 11 wins and just 1 loss, that single blemish coming at the hands of Tommy Fury in February 2023. Not bad, right? Let's not forget his amateur victory over Deji in 2018, boosting his overall tally to an impressive 12-1. Sure, some may debate the caliber of his opponents, but whether he's taking on seasoned fighters or sparking online drama, Jake Paul is undeniably one of the most talked about names in combat sports, and don't leave Logan Paul out of the mix. From pulling pranks on YouTube to trading punches with pros, Logan's journey has been nothing short of unique. He fought KSI twice, and the results? A draw and a split decision, leaving fans still debating who had the upper hand.
One, it does show us that this is a Jake Paul driven thing going on here, and that Conor McGregor makes sense because he's probably still.
The million-dollar question is, why does this matter? Because Jake Paul isn't just calling out Conor McGregor, he's throwing down the gauntlet to the entire UFC establishment. By demanding UFC's involvement, Jake is directly challenging Dana White's monopoly on combat sports while daring him to recognize Paul's most valuable promotions as a legitimate player. This isn't a small move, it's a calculated power play designed to disrupt the traditional dynamics of fight promotions. The ripple effects could be massive. If Jake gets his way, it could open the door for more cross-promotional mega-events, breaking down barriers between independent fighters and corporate giants. Picture a world where MVP and UFC collaborate, merging Jake's social media expertise with UFC's global reach. It's a bold vision that could forever shift the balance of power in the fight game.
Logan said you might be next. Would you be interested?
Slap the nose on. He's gonna beat Dylan, and he's gonna beat Logan.
The fight between Jake Paul and Conor McGregor isn't just about egos. McGregor's public image has taken some hits recently: legal troubles, sponsorship losses, and a series of lackluster performances in the octagon. A fight with Jake Paul might seem beneath him, but it also presents a chance for McGregor to remind the world why he's still the notorious. Meanwhile, Jake Paul is playing chess while everyone else plays checkers. His callouts aren't random, they're calculated. By targeting MMA legends, he's positioning himself as the ultimate disruptor, the guy who doesn't just box but rewrites the rules of combat sports. What makes this rivalry so compelling isn't just who would win in the ring, it's the narrative. Jake, the social media provocateur, challenges McGregor, the king of combat sports chaos. It's legacy versus disruption, the old guard versus the new wave, and, most importantly, pure entertainment gold.
As crazy as it sounds now, based on how I felt about this 4 years ago, that Jake Paul would give Conor McGregor real problems in a boxing ring and potentially knock him out.
This rivalry has the potential to change the fight game forever. If Jake Paul steps into the ring with Conor McGregor, it won't just be another celebrity showdown, it will be a defining moment in combat sports. This fight would prove that cross-discipline matchups aren't just hype, that social media influencers can compete with seasoned professionals, and that the sport is evolving in ways no one expected. Whether fans love or hate Jake Paul, there's no denying his impact. He has already disrupted boxing by drawing massive audiences, securing high-profile fights, and forcing traditionalists to take him seriously. A fight with McGregor would push that even further, blurring the lines between boxing, MMA, and entertainment like never before. But the big question remains, is Jake Paul serious, or is this just another calculated stunt? He thrives on drama, speculation, and shocking twists, keeping fans guessing at every turn. His callouts often seem outlandish, but time and time again, he has made the impossible happen.